Jade plant being one of the permanent plants. Once you have one plant, you can grow many out of this plant, and also one of the sun-loving plant, and also a succulent. And in Feng Shui also, this is considered very lucky enough, and have it in your garden, since it is a low maintenance plant. For a beginner gardener also, this is really very good. So this is one of the plants that you must have in your collection. So watch until the end, because I have described how to treat this plant, use the fertilizer, and all the details. Jade plant should be exposed to a lot of sunlight. It should be kept in a place where it gets the maximum sunlight, and should be exposed to 5 to 6 hours of morning sunlight. So this is a beautiful sun-loving plant. If you kept it indoors, keep it in a place where it gets the full sunlight. So pinching jade plant will, now see these two stems here, I'm going to pinch it. From there it will develop more stems. So pinching the jade plant will encourage more growth in the plant. So that is a great way to enhance the growth of the plant. My plant is growing slowly. During the dormancy period, it didn't appear any new leaves, but I can see now there are a few leaves in this jade plant. This is one of the plants that known as the lucky plant or the happiness plant. Some people call this as the money tree as well. So this is a beautiful plant to add to your green plants collection, especially to decor your home. But there are few myths about growing this plant indoors. This is best outdoors according to my suggestion. And also you can grow this plant with a single stem cutting. These are a few stem cuttings of jade plant. This is in cocoa peat and garden soil. So to start off, you can put the stems in cocoa peat and garden soil. They grow really well in that. And keep it in a shady area the first few days, and after that you can locate it to a place where it gets a full sun, and you should expose the plant gradually. This plant doesn't prefer the soggy soil. They prefer the dry soil. So do not water this plant every day. You can water it when the plant is in really need of water. Do check the soil before you water this plant. But you can, if you are living in a place where the weather is really very warm and hot, so you can spray this plant every morning. The mist spraying is the best thing, a water can. So take water in a can and spray the plant in the morning. That is the best way to keep the plant hydrated. So if you see any leaves falling from this plant, that means you are giving too much of water to this plant. And if you see any dried leaves, that means this plant is underwatering. If the leaves are not so bushy and thick, if you see wrinkles, that means the plant is in need of water. So now I will show you how I give fertilizer to this plant, because since the growth of this plant is very slow, so I recommend using coffee grounds to this plant. Coffee grounds are enriched with lot of nutrients to the plants, so you can take coffee grounds which are used and dry them out in the sun and use them for your plants. So check how I do it now. First thing is, you can dig the plant around the root like this. Clean the pot surface and dig it around the pot, and make space for your fertilizer first. So now with the help of this fork, I'm going to dig around the root, and after that I'm going to put all these tea leaves fertilizer to this plant. So after that, again you can cover up with the soil. So likewise you can add fertilizer to this jade plant. Do not overwater this plant, because that is really very bad and will lead to root rot. So keep in mind not to overwater this plant. expose it to sun. That is the main thing about growing jade plant, since it is a succulent plant. So now here I have add fertilizer. So when you are growing these plants, at the beginning you don't have to give any fertilizer for the little plants. Jade plant being one of the permanent plants, once you have one plant you can grow many out of this plant, and also one of the sun loving plant and also a succulent. And in Feng Shui also this is considered very lucky enough, and have it in your garden, since it is a low maintenance plant. For a beginner gardener also this is really very good. So this is one of the plants that you must have in your collection.